Ladies and gentlemen, we just got the news. The Democratic Party pretty much has no future. You see, over the last couple days, the Democratic National Committee, the DNC, held elections to determine who's in charge of the party moving forward. And well, let's just say they didn't exactly make the best choice. You see, just the other day, the DNC voted for David Hogg to be the new vice chair of the Democratic Party. And so today, what I want to do with you guys is go through Mr. Hogg's history to really showcase just how incompetent this guy really is. And as an extension, just how screwed the entire Democratic Party really is. So hey, without further delay, let's all take a look at what Mr. David Hogg had to say after being elected as the DNC's new vice chair.
Are you ready to go on the offense? Yeah! Are you ready to go on the offense? Yeah! We have to win back our young people. I am the only candidate in this race for any of these positions that is under 30. We had a 20-point shift to the right of our young people. We must show our young people we give a damn about them, that we support them, and we invest in them.
Well, hey, I mean, he's right about one thing. Young people don't like the Democrats, especially young men. In fact, young men just recently overwhelmingly voted for Donald Trump. But so David Hogg has this idea that young men will vote for him because he's also a young man. But I don't think it really works like that. I think people vote on policy, not necessarily on age. Because like we just said a moment ago, all of these young men just got done voting for Trump, who's 78 years old. So clearly age isn't the only factor. But okay, so what does the new DNC Vice Chair David Hogg really stand for? What are his personally held political beliefs? Well, he's insane. Like, literally. In fact, let's all take a look at some of Mr. Hogg's career highlights. The NRA needs to be designated as a terrorist organization for the role their supporters played in staging an insurrectionist coup. So by the way, if he thinks this, and he does, then he must necessarily also think that all of us are terrorists for voting for Donald Trump again. Like I said, this guy is insane. Defund the police, not USPS. Yeah, because we've all seen in just the last couple years, defunding the police has worked out so well up and down the West Coast. Abolish ICE. Now, I'm beginning to kind of sense a trend here. It pretty much seems like Mr. David Hogg just wants lawless anarchy across the entire country. Unlike COVID, there is no vaccine for climate change. Once we start feeling the impacts, we can just implement and survive. There is only one solution: prevention. Alright, so let me try to keep track here. No guns, no police, no immigration laws, and no fossil fuels. What could possibly go wrong? Remind me, how many AR-15s did Jesus own? To which someone in the comments responded, not enough to avoid being murdered by his own government. And so hey, that was pretty much the biggest shutdown of all time. Well, actually, maybe not. Take a look at this.
Hi, my name is Lily Tan Williams. Welcome to my Live Free or Die state. Actually, I am a Chinese immigrant who survived communism. And under Mao, 40 million people were starving to death after he sold communism to them. And 20 million people died, murdered during his Cultural Revolution. So my question to you, David, is that can you guarantee me, a gun owner tonight, our government in the U.S., in D.C., will never become a tyrannical government? Can you guarantee that to me?
There's no way I can ever guarantee that any government will not be tyrannical.
Well, then the debate on gun control is over because I will never give up my guns. Never. And you should go to China to see how gun control works for dictatorship of CCP.
Now that was the biggest shutdown of all time. And so this is the thing with all of these insane progressives. They're completely detached from reality. And when they meet someone that's actually had to deal with the consequences of their insane progressive ideology, they just have no response whatsoever. You don't need guns, just trust the government. Come on, guys, what's the worst thing that could happen? Meanwhile, completely ignoring the 10+ times that authoritarian regimes have confiscated people's guns, then started indiscriminately killing people just in the last 100 years. Very recent history, in fact. And now I do want to say real quick, guys, if you enjoy the videos, if you enjoy helping me hold these insane progressives accountable, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really does help a lot. But okay, take a look at this next one from Mr. David Hogg. You have no right to a gun. You are not a militia. When you're talking about your Second Amendment rights, you're talking about a state's rights to have what is today the National Guard. The modern interpretation of the Second Amendment is ridiculous fraud pushed for decades by the gun lobby. So, yeah, listen, it's not just this modern interpretation of the Second Amendment that allows for people to individually own guns. No, it's been the interpretation of the Second Amendment since the country was founded almost 250 years ago. In fact, Mr. David Hogg's post was so incompetent that it actually got hit with a community note, a little correction. Take a look. While individual opinions about the proper reading of the Second Amendment to the United States Constitution differ widely and have for generations, the United States Supreme Court has ruled that it does, in fact, protect an individual right to bear arms. So there you have it. But okay, listen, this is what the point is. Mr. Vice Chair David Hogg is just about as radically progressive as someone could possibly be. He wants to defund the police, he wants to abolish ICE, he wants to ban the consumption of fossil fuels, he wants to get rid of the Second Amendment, and guess what? Now he's the vice chair of the Democratic Party. So believe me when I say this, the Democrats are absolutely hopeless right now. In fact, they haven't learned a single lesson from this recent election. Don't believe me? Well, how about you guys take a look at this clip from the recent DNC convention?
I have a show of hands. How many of you believe that racism and misogyny played a role in Vice President Harris's defeat? Okay. So that's good. You all pass.
So once again, I'm going to say it one more time. Right now, the Democratic Party is absolutely clueless. They have no future because they don't live in reality. Still to this day, they refuse to comprehend the fact that the reason they lost the election is because of their terrible progressive policies that literally no one wants. People don't want to live in the liberal hellscape with no police, no borders, and no economy. In fact, that's pretty much what we just had for the last 4 years, and it almost destroyed the entire country. Then, guess what happened? Well, the entire country came together to overwhelmingly reject all of these incompetent progressive ideas that people like DNC Vice Chair David Hogg still have to this day. So the fact of the matter is this, they have learned nothing. It's almost like they think their problem is that they aren't progressive enough. But you know what? There's a famous saying that I'm reminded of right now. When your enemy is making a mistake, all you should do is sit back and watch. This is the current state of the Democratic Party. They have genuinely convinced themselves that they need to double down on open border policy and the climate hoax and gender-neutral bathrooms and all of that progressive mumbo-jumbo. And I'll tell you what, until that changes, they won't be winning any national elections ever again. Because why? People are sick of it. So hey, I want to know what you guys have to say about all of this, so please go down below and drop a comment. Please like the video if you liked the video. Please consider subscribing. It's huge and it really does help a lot. Thank you all very much for watching, and of course, as always, stay safe.